TNA Impact Wrestling, and when you say Hebner, you gotta say best referees. Best referees around right there, I'm telling you. And there it's father and son, so we get second generation and all. And first question I'm gonna throw at you is, how does someone become a referee?
Well, you have to train, you have to really have your heart into this business, and you've got to know where you're going and where to be and how to do. It's just not 1, 2, 3. It's a lot more involved what people don't even know about. Being a referee is almost like reading a dictionary or having a GPS, knowing where you're going, knowing what you're doing.
If someone came up to you and says, hey, I want to train to become a referee, will they go to a wrestling school to train to be a referee? Is there some type of situation like that?
You can go to school. You're not going to really, unless a referee's training you, you can go to wrestling school, but you're not going to really, you'll learn what it is to be a referee, but you're not going to learn from a referee how to be a referee, there's a big difference. I learned how to be a referee through my dad. And to me, I got taught and trained by the best, and I'm hopefully going to carry on what he was able to do in this business by doing the same thing. But to answer your question, I've actually trained referees. He's actually helped train referees. The thing is, some of them, actually almost every one of them that we've trained, just don't have it. I mean, they're hard to find now because they weren't wrestling fans usually before. Like, I've been one all my life. I had no choice. He's been one all his life. Some of these guys just decide, I watch wrestling. I'd like to get in that business. Let me be a referee. Doesn't really another way.
They don't even know what's in store. We've had a couple referees show up for a gut check, and they haven't really showed me anything as from the time that they say they've been in the business, as long as they've been. We ran into one referee in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We worked a show for a friend of ours, and this kid was a friend of Gunner, and we gave him a match, or I may have given him a couple matches, but he is the best that I've seen yet, as far as a no-name, just an independent show referee, and he showed me something, So if something happens around here that TNA runs 2 shows and we need more refs, I would recommend this one guy, because he's got it. He surprised me, but he has it.
When you say something like tattoo, when wrestlers or knockouts, and it's like, okay, and the agents are looking at them and they're like, okay, that one, I see something in that one. Or when they do gut check, like you said too, and saying that with the referee, that's a big part of it then too. You could just watch that person work in the ring and say, okay, that guy's got something to work with.
I can look at a referee and just by his simple positioning, where he puts his body, can say right off the bat before 2 seconds after the bell rings, I can tell if that guy's got the right movement, the right body language, and the right gestures as a referee. And I know every referee's not the same, and they shouldn't be. Everybody's got their own personality. But it's just like a wrestler. I can't do what they do, but I can tell you about just locking up whether the guy's got it or not. So, I mean, it's like you said, it's either you have it or you don't in this business. As a wrestler, as a writer, as a backstage guy, as anything that, referee in this company or in wrestling in general, you either have it or you don't. It's just not something you can just decide I want to do.
Did you ever think about becoming a wrestler?
Oh, I did. That was kind of stupid.
When you were younger?
When I was younger, yeah. Of course I did. I wanted to, be some, big wrestler. But it didn't take me long to figure out that my body wasn't going to get any bigger. And wasn't cut the mold. And I'm very athletic. But I just knew because of watching him that this is what I needed to do. Longevity. You can tell that my dad, he's been doing it for over 30 years. And that to me meant more than anything. Once I got my mind straight on what I wanted to do in the business, the longevity thing was the main thing that said, you know what, I can do this for a long time, I can be good at this, and proud of myself, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I wanted to be one, but I figured out once I got smart enough to not want to be one.
The risk of injuries, because, you guys are getting knocked around in there, and you guys have to move around and things like that and all. Just what is it like having to deal with any injuries and things like that? And can you tell us some injuries that you've had over the years?
Well, like when I was Brian's age, things didn't bother me. You wanted to do this, you wanted to do that. Now at my age now, I'm paying the price. Body-wise, honestly, I've had just 9 operations on my knees alone, and both rotor cuffs have been replaced and operated on. stitches all around here and here. One eye doesn't dilate anymore because of being hit in the head, and elbows are splintered against steps. And I've taken a beating, and like I said, when you're his age, you go, oh man, I love it. Hell, I'll do it. Now, Brian gets up like this, and I get up like this, and I go to the ring like this, and Brian walks like boom, 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 But I'm no spring chicken anymore, and I know it. But I've paid my dues, and it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. But as far as me ever wanting to be a wrestler, I never wanted to be a wrestler because I had more opportunity to stay busy and work every day as long as there was a show in the wrestling business as a referee, if I made it, and which I did make it. So, where you have 30 wrestlers, you have 2 refs.
That's it. I was going to talk about the spots available because it's hard enough being a wrestler
Right.
or a knockout,
Right.
but to be a referee,
Right.
it's even harder because
the
the
thing.
spots available.
That's the thing, like everybody asks. I mean, always on Twitter and just normal life. Everybody always wants to know, what do I need to do to be a referee? What do I need to do to be a referee? First of all, you got to figure out whether you can do it or not. Second of all, that is the main key. You've got to find a spot. We don't need a referee, and he's not going anywhere soon, I don't think. I'm not going anywhere for hopefully ever. And our youngest guy, his name's Brian Stifler, is not going anywhere for a while. So we won't need a referee for a long, long time, knock on wood, unless something happens to one of us. But I'm just saying, we're not planning on going anywhere. So the available spots here, there isn't any. So I mean, you can go train all you want and try out in front of us, but you're not going to get a job unless you take mine. And I mean, that's not going to happen. I mean, unless you're better than me, and that's up to you. But
I mean, I have friends that work independent shows, and I must get a text message every week, sometimes 2 times a week. Hey man, what do you think? Is there an opening? And I keep saying, hey, right now there's nothing going on. It's going to be a long time. Because, like Brian said, unfortunately, if something happens where I'm injured or he's injured, then you have to fill in and for a while. But, the thing is, as long as we've been here with TNA, or as long as we've been in the business around all the guys, we know how they work, what they do. A lot of them you can tell. I can follow Flair and some of the old guys, just like I'm following my dog. I know what they're doing and what's going to happen. And that's just come from experience over the years. And then once you're with the company and you learn how everybody works and you know what to do, they even depend on us, believe it or not. And I'm sure that any of them in there wouldn't mind telling you, hey, whether it's Earl or Brian, they depend on a ref to help them, to get them through it. And I mean, really, a lot of people think it's just 1, 2, 3. It's not that. Believe me. It's more than that. Like I said, it's like writing a dictionary.